Okay, so section 1.4, we're going to talk about the distributive property. I feel like you might have seen this before. And so we'll review it. We'll talk about some more vocab and hopefully we'll do great at this as well. Okay, so basically the vocab would be a coefficient is the numerical factor of a term. So if you have 3x squared, the 3 is the coefficient. So it's the number in front of the variable. If you have like terms, they have the same variables raised to the same power. So if you look at this list of terms, the like terms would be the 2x and the 5x, okay? So 2x and 5x, that would make 7x if you add them together because they're both positive. Some more like terms would be if you look at the -8 and the +5. Okay, those are also like terms that would give us a -3 when we put them together. The sign goes with the term. So look in front of the term, that is the value of it is -8. It's not just 8, it is going to be -8. We're going to have some times where we simplify expressions. And simplest form is when the terms that are like have been combined. And then also there's no parentheses. So we're going to distribute if there are parentheses on this. And then equivalent expressions, well, if you start with a problem and you reduce it and simplify it, it should be equal to in value to what you start with. Otherwise, you didn't do a good job. So make sure things are true. Remember that review parentheses mean multiplication. So if you see 3 parentheses 2, that means 3 times 2. So if you see 3 parentheses 2 plus x, that means 3 times 2 plus x. And, with PEMDAS, we learned that you should do in the parentheses first. On the other hand, I can't really add these together because they're not like terms. So if I want to do anything with this, the way that I would do that is to do multiplication, which would be distribute this into here. The only way you can do that is for distributing is if it's only addition or subtraction in the parentheses. If there's an exponent inside the parentheses or an exponent outside the parentheses, or if there's like multiplication inside the parentheses. No, it has to only be if there's just terms by adding or subtraction if we're going to distribute. So how you distribute would be is if you take this 3 and you times it by each term within the parentheses. So 3 times 2x gives us 6x, 3 times 5 is 15. And then same with this, distribute the -2 times the 3x is -6x, and -2 times -4, which is +8. If it's after it, again, you distribute it to both those terms. So the number outside the parentheses gets multiplied by both those. Because remember, parenthesis means multiplication. And you can distribute in there if there are just multiple terms in there, not raised, not lots of crazy things other than adding or subtracting. So we'll do enough examples that you should be fine. Here we go. So taking 6 and multiply it by x, and 6 times 2 makes 12. So this right here is a little weird. If there's not a number there, it's a -1, okay? So -1 gets distributed to both of those would be -1x and then +5. Negative times negative is positive. And so just a negative sign in front of a parenthesis, you might see like 8 minus and then x plus 2. You really do need to distribute the -1 to both of those. You would get -1x minus 2. And then you'd combine the 8 and the 2. So it'd be 6 minus 1x. You never have to write the 1 in front of x, but it means 6 minus 1x, or you could just write 6 minus x. So that is how that would go if you were doing that question. So let's check out this. So it'd be 7x minus 56. Multiply the 7 by both the x and the -8. Take the -3 by both of those. You get -6x minus 27. Take the 4 by both of these. You get 32x plus 44. You get -50x and then plus 5, because -1 times -5 is +5. Okay, moving forward. -20x and then plus 24. The negative sign in front of that means the -1 gets distributed. So you get -11x and then -1. And then the -7 gets multiplied by all 3. -7x minus 21y, and the negative times negative is +7z. Naming terms. Terms are separated by an adding or subtraction sign. So like this is a 2x, a 3y, and a -8. Those are 3 different terms. The variable terms have a letter in them, the constant terms don't. So the variable terms in this expression would be 2x and 3y. The constant term would be -8, okay? Variable terms would be 8y squared and the positive and the x, positive 1x or just x, okay? You can call it either way. The constant is -4. This is 9x and then -1y or just -y, and then also -2. Are these like terms or not? If so, let's add them together. So could you add together 7a and -3a? Well, yes, you could. You would get 4a. 6ab and 2a? No, they're not like terms. They have the same letters raised to the same powers. So 4x squared and 12x squared? Yes, that would be 16x squareds. So it would be a yes. And you can combine them. The coefficient, you just add the coefficients of like terms, the numbers in front of them, and that makes 16. 8 and 15, these are like terms, they're constant terms. 8 and 15 makes 23. 9x cubed y, and then 2x cubed y. Yes, those are like terms. You get 11x cubed and then a y. Add the coefficients of the like terms. Last one, no. Why? The variables are not raised to the same power. Now, if we look at these, we've got a whole hodgepodge of terms, okay? Each one has like 2 or 3 terms, and most of them have at least one like term that you can add together. If they're like terms, add or subtract the like terms coefficients. So 3x minus x. Well, if there's not a number, there's a 1. 3x minus 1x is 2x, and then plus 5. 4x squared plus 2x squared, those are like terms. You get 6y squared. I said x, I mean y, and then subtract 2y. These are not like terms because one has squared and one does not. This 2x goes with the -4x, that makes -2x. And then nothing else is like terms, so you just bring everything else down. A -7xy and positive 1xy makes -6xy. When they are like terms, you add or subtract the coefficients of those like terms. Okay, this says there aren't any that are like terms, so we could write that. It's already simplified. Okay. 1y minus 23y is -22y. So 1 minus 23 is -22. Let's put these x's together. You got 5x and -9x is -4x. And then -8y. Keep the sign with the term, and so when you combine a +5 and a -9, you get -4. -2y and -5y is -7y. 8 and -2 is +6, and then plus 5y squared. The last one, 3y minus 1y is 2y, and then plus 2. All right, the next group says simplify by distributing and then combining like terms. One thing that kids struggle with would be, how do you distribute this? So we're going to start at number 27. Distribute this one, and then we'll combine like terms. So what gets distributed here is a 7. You get 14x plus 7y. On this one, you get plus 6x and then plus 30y. So the combining like terms would be that x's go together, and that would be 20x. The y's go together, which would be 30y. Make sure I did that correctly. Yeah, 30. No, I did not. Let's look at this y. 30 plus 7 is 37y. That would be better. Okay. Number 28 has a best friend in your quiz. A lot of kids want to add the 5 and the 3 first, but remember with PEMDAS, we do the inside the parentheses, which we can't, then we do multiplication, which is the multiply the 3, and then we add or subtract any like terms. So don't be confused and be like, I'm going to add before I multiply. No, that is a very bad choice. So this is a good one to look at. You get 3x minus 21. And then you get 3x minus 21 minus 5 is going to be 16. Okay, and then above here, we're going to distribute the -2 to both of these. So you get -6x minus 8. and then minus x, so you distribute a -1 to those, so -1x plus 7. Remember, when you take a negative times a negative, you get a positive. You get -7x when you combine the x's together. -6 and 1 is -7. And -8 plus 7 is going to be -1. And then this one here, make sure, again, don't subtract first, we distribute first. And what we need to distribute is not just a 3, but a -3. So it's a -6x, and then it's also a +12. Bring down the 5x, and then bring down the 7x. So distribute the -3 to both the terms. When you distribute the first, it stays negative. When you distribute the negative, it becomes positive. So it's -1x, and -7 is -8x, and then +12. We've got a word problem. 3 times the quantity 2x plus 3y decreased by twice the difference of 4x and y. So they didn't really say the quantity here, but it's kind of implied. So it's like sometimes they do that. Be alert. This will be 6x plus 9y minus 8x plus 2y. Distribute the negative to both. Negative times negative is positive. You get -2x plus 11y as your answer. See if I agree with what I got in my notes. Yep, that's it. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.